Much of Oregon may be feeling the effects of drought this summer. By March, Klamath County had only 45% of its normal snowpack. The first casualty, ski resorts having to end their season early and closing. But other areas in Klamath are being affected too. Low water supply threatens the lives of a number of species of fish in the area. The Klamath tribe survived off these fish for decades. Now, the fish are endangered and the entire tribe is limited to harvesting just 2 fish per year for ceremonial purposes. Don Gentry, chairman of Klamath Tribes, says this drought could potentially force even more species of fish into extinction.
Of course, the drought in the drier conditions that we've experienced in the last years are problematic. There's less water in the lake and rivers and streams for our fisheries, so it does have an impact.
Gentry says they want to protect the fish, but they also want to protect the people of the community and the history of their tribe.
It's more than just food. It's what we do. So if the fish die, the people die. So very important to us. And even though we've been without them for many years, they need to be there, and they're a big part of our life.
Gentry adds that unless something changes, there's nothing stopping the continued extinction of fish species. Even counties that have escaped the drought designation are facing low water conditions. Marissa Wallazin, the chief meteorologist at KEZI in Eugene, says there hasn't been enough rain here.
We haven't actually had rain all the way through May. We've only picked up about 1/4 of an inch, and usually we see 2 1/4 inches of rain. So we're actually heading into our dry months, unfortunately, with not as much rain as we need.
But Wallazin also notes that droughts come and go in a cyclical manner and that they aren't necessarily becoming more common. In Marion County, Louis Casimir has dealt with cyclical droughts year after year. Casimir has been a dairy farmer in Salem for 25 years and has seen what a severe drought can do. He almost lost his farm in 2008. Now he's working towards more sustainable farming. 3 years ago, he built his own water reservoir. The water is filled with microbes, which he says is great for irrigation. Casimir says the nutrients help the soil become stronger and retain more water.
Now we're getting into the microbes in the soil, which is kind of exciting, kind of new. And more people are jumping into this thing.
He's also experimenting with a 10-acre plot of corn silage, where he's mixed an additive into the soil to help the roots grow, become more efficient, and allow him to use less water. But dairy cows don't live on corn silage alone. They also need hay. Casimir doesn't grow hay. He buys it from Klamath and has no control over what he has to pay. Greg Zahner has been delivering hay to Casimir and other farmers around the state from the Klamath Basin for years, and he says the drought is hiking the price.
Well, this is probably the worst case of drought and lack of water that I have ever seen.
He says he thinks price for hay might be going up by $20 to $40 a ton. And for Casimir, a $40 per ton increase on 60 tons of hay a week means an additional $9,600 expense each month. So if farmers want to protect their crops and combat cyclical droughts, James Cassidy, a crop and soil instructor at OSU, says to get life from your soil, you should give life to your soil.
Maintaining organic matter levels is probably the most important job in agriculture.
Casimir is apparently on the right track. Cassidy says adding organic matter like microbes, compost, and other living organisms can increase soil's water holding capacity, making life or crops possible in drought. Cassidy said that's because organic matter can hold up to 80 times its weight in water, even in hot, dry summers. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, 1% organic matter in just the top 6 inches of soil can hold 27,000 gallons of water per acre. Cassidy, who started an organic soil project 17 years ago, says he's seen a difference in the soil from when he first began the project to now.
It used to be very difficult to keep water in that soil, so we had to water more often. And now, I just have a couple of drip lines and it's enough.
He did say, however, that the 1% increase isn't easy. It takes time to transform soil into healthy soil. It's not an overnight job, but it is a job that could help in the long term. Reporting for Oregon News, I'm Marc Grandy.